Okay, so we saw like the architecture. One was database. We saw extractor. We'll extract the data. We will store it in QEDs. Then we will do the transformation. So this entire step in general or in technical terminology is called as a transformation step. Okay, so we do transformations. We do an entire transformation for whatever data set is required QEDs. Then you store it, then you create the QEDs or the application file. Now at the application level, so the users will connect to this file, right? So what will happen is users will connect to this QEW file. Now, like I told, when you extract it from the database, it might take a couple of hours, but when you extract it from QEDs, it is a couple of minutes. Now, what couple of minutes happens is, suppose you are using, like over here, the sample example is 2 QEDs. Imagine you have 10 or 15 QEDs of data that has to be uploaded into a single QEW application. So it is going to take relative time. So maybe 10 to 15 minutes is the average thing where you have like huge millions of records or billions of records being loaded from a QED to a QEW. So if you look at the 10 or 15 minutes or more than that, the end user during that period when the data is getting refreshed, the end user will not be able to access the QEW application. So it will show a downtime for the user. So maybe that might be 15 minutes if your application is taking 15. It can be 45 minutes if your application is taking 45 minutes to load. There are possibilities of 45 minutes when you consider billions of records across systems. So the refresh, generally there are samples where the load is continuously going on for 1 hour, 2 hours, because the volume of data is tremendous. It's in terabytes or in minimum GB, like 100 GB or 200 GB or more than that. So that's why the end user will have a downtime of that hour because QEW is refreshing, right? So what QlikView did was, it brought in a secondary architecture or a best deployment architecture, we call it. We continue the same architecture till this QEW file, but over here we break this QEW file into 2 files. What we do is, like in my demo also I showed that, or in the presentation, I spoke about 2 roles, right? Development and UI. So I put what the best practice is, you break this over here as a data model and as an UI application. Okay. So a data model is a place where I think you lost me for a brief moment. So the data, the application, the file will be split into 2 things. One is data model, one is UI application. Now the data model is the stage where all the QEDs, data from all the QEDs will be collated, all the transformations will be done. So over here we do a couple of transformations, but at the QEW level, right, when there is requirement for the front-end UI, so there might still be further calculations that you want to do. So in case that you're doing that, so all that happens in the data model, and this will just be a data model file. There will be no presentation layer, there will be no UI layer. We will just have another exact file with only the UI layer. So this file will have all the script file. This will not have any script in it. So technically data model will have the entire script. It will run it, it will bring data, link data, make association, create a data model, and this file will be stored. The UI application will not have any script in it. It will just be a separate script, separate file, only with the UI. It will have the dashboard, it will have the charts, it will have the graphs. Now in QlikView, there is a third kind of load or a extraction process, which is called as a binary load. What it does is, it reads from an existing QEW file. So one method is to bring data from any database. So you can extract data from any database. It will store it to QED. From QEW, you can directly access the QED and get the data. Once you have created a QEW application, right, data model application, you can create several other QEWs reading data from a QEW file. So, okay, the logic is, suppose you had these two QEDs, right? So two QEDs you used, you created one QEW file. Exactly one QEW file. Now, in this one QEW file, you have the data model. The data model is like you'll have the fact, you'll have the dimension, you'll have all the associations. You might have few analytical like transformations also. Now, in the same, so everything happens at this stage. At this stage, it is just a UI. It will just point to this application, bring the data out, and present the UI application. That's all. The coordination or the optimization between these two is, if the QED to the QEW is like, it doesn't matter how long it takes, from a QEW to a QEW, it is not for any amount of data or any size of data, it is not more than 10 to 15 seconds. So it doesn't matter whether this file is in terabytes, gigabytes or GB, from a QEW to a QEW, binary load is like, I have not seen anything more than 10 to 30 seconds if I have to be very precise. I have seen QEW data model file being refreshed for hours together, but from a data model to a UI application, it is very fast. So there is absolutely no lag or time taken. So that's why we keep this. Now for the end user, right, the downtime is just that 15 seconds. So the user will not even realize that the file has been refreshed. So he just refreshes the browser. So the updated application will be available for him. So that's the optimization of this entire architecture, so that end user should not realize what we are doing. And in between, we do all the best practices of the industry, and then we follow it. Is it confusing?
Sir, one question. So which QEW resides in the memory over here?
Yeah, that's a good question. So this file resides on the memory. So the data model also will be, everything will be just in the hard disk. Only this final QEW will be.
Okay, and that is pushed by the developer, right, to the memory?
By the server. So what the developer does is, he'll create all these QEDs, place it, schedule it. So the publisher, when the server reloads, right, refreshes, it uploads this file to the memory. Whole setup will be on the server. Okay, it is not like this is a backend. This is only in the backend. This entire process is gonna be in the server. Like I said, right, this is QEW. It will be like this. Okay, QEW1. This is our extractor. Then whatever transformation QEW, if you have any transformation, if you're doing, it's not necessary for every project to have transformation. Then you have the script file, the data model, and you have the UI application. So you'll have QEW at every stage. Now how you set up, schedule it on the server sequentially. So first extractor executes, it will create the required QEDs. Then the next transformation executes, that will create the required QEDs. Then the data model is going to get refreshed. Then the QEW final application file. So the entire setup will be on the server. So as a developer, you'll push everything to the server. The server will upload the final UI application into the RAM so that the users can access it. These are some of your best practices that we'll have to follow. So we'll see that. Don't get, even if you're getting confused, while we are doing it, it will be more clear for you. So don't worry about it.